The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Happy Friday. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore and return to a more balanced, natural, wild world so we can take back control of our personal choices as well as our health and our freedoms. I'm Nico Haan. Paige is out today gathering some more information for us. She'll be back next week. But it is a beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater, 72 degrees, partly cloudy, and we got a nice cool spell coming for a couple of days. So it's nice. It's been unseasonably hot here. And I think across the country it's heating back up, going up and down, kind of. So please subscribe to Health Signals newsletter. I got a brand new one out there. It's packed full of stuff. We'll discuss a little bit of that today. Please pick up some of our Primal Edge daily nutrition. I had a nice inquiry from one of my listeners, Peter, who inquired about using Primal Edge. Is it good for gout? And of course, gout it's a highly inflammatory disease. It has to do with the intestinal tract and your stomach and that. So yeah, Primal Edge is great for that because many of the things we have in there are anti-inflammatory. Many of them are healing. A lot of stuff in there to help you detox. That all helps gout, and it really helps just about everything else. Most of the diseases we have today are are inflammatory. So we need anti-inflammatories, and that's what we're all about here. You can use your discount dollars, of course, for both the newsletter and the Primal Edge. So use that, and we're taking your phone calls here, 877-927-6648. Hope everybody's doing well. Subject for today really is about health. What is health today? And over the holidays, of course, I get to experience a lot of different things, people eating styles and things like that, and how they feel afterwards. So I think, we went over to a friend's house, invited us over for Turkey Day. So instead of cooking the duck, which I did a couple of days later, decided to take them up on it. It was a really pleasant time. I just wanted to kind of give you an insight of how I feel and how my wife and I felt at this gathering, because it was kind of cool. Great food. They had a turkey, ham, all the goodies, desserts, of course, and everything like that. And we were noticing, because we've kind of stick to our own thing, because, we're so happy with the way we're eating and how satisfied we are, that we kind of just stick to what we've been doing. And we don't eat anything processed. If it doesn't look like its original food, really kind of shy away from that. And of course, we noticed the people who were at the table who were eating, and they were pretty much eating kind of the same thing we were, except they were, of course, using the potatoes and the rice and the stuffing, all the things that we don't eat. And the real difference was kind of dramatic, because afterwards, you go, oh, I'm so full and this like that, where I'm not. I was just had a little bit of protein, and if I didn't have it, it probably wouldn't have made a lot of difference. Certainly, the food was fabulous, but we weren't really drawn in with the carbs. So I ate a little bit of carbs, I ate a little bit of the vegetables. And afterwards, I had a nice little piece of blueberry pie and some ice cream. So that was a nice topper to it all. But we didn't have that full feeling. And that is the stark difference between the way my wife and I are eating and the way a majority of people are eating on this planet, it seems like, at least in the United States. And that's really quite a thing. Now, last night, my wife and I attended a little event that is for her work. It was an association that she belongs to for her community associations. And I hadn't been to one of these in quite a while. In fact, some of the people I hadn't really seen in 12 or 15 years. So that brought me to another realization there. One of my good friends I haven't seen for 15 years, more of an acquaintance, And I could really notice a difference in the 15 years because he is close to my age, maybe about 10 years younger. So he's in his 60s, but so between 45 and 60, That's 15 years. That's quite a distance, but he did remark how great I looked and how great both of us looked and how we were full of energy and stuff like that. But I really noticed the difference. Now, he's a guy that works out, and so when I hugged him, I could feel the muscles and everything like that. But his face and his hair and the skin was totally different than 15 years ago. The age was really showing on him, and he was in pretty good condition. Then the interesting thing, I have another friend of mine. I haven't seen him in quite a while, but not as long, maybe 4 or 5 years. Maybe it was even less than that. But he, about 5 years ago, found out he had diabetes. And he was just going on the path of the normal type of thing, eating the American way. And so he discovered that he was going towards this diabetes, changed his diet. And he really looked great. I mean, it was amazing. So here during that time, he was just bettering the way he looked, the way he felt, where the other person was, I don't know how he felt really, but you could really notice the difference in it. And that's what really hit home with me. And I said to my wife, I said, boy, you see the contrast here, the difference between somebody, because the one fellow was forced to change his diet, otherwise he was going to be a diabetic. And it actually was right on the threshold. So they would call him a diabetic today because of the standards have, changed as the time goes on. But so it forced him to look at the paleo diet. And of course, my wife and I had given some tips on that, but he went full-fledged into it. And remarkably, he changed completely to from somebody who was diabetic, not looking too well, feeling down, not having energy, to a guy who's, he walks up to you and say, Nico, how you doing? And just, it was great, So seeing that contrast was a big thing for me. And it really, each time that happens, it validates more and more of the type of diet that I'm on. And of course, if you've been listening to the show, I'm on a high-fat diet. And of course, we're really used to fat being the demon here. And I'm no longer afraid of it. We, for years and years and years, we're always on the low-fat diet. But so many statistics are now coming out that fat, and when we're talking about fat, of course, we're talking about healthy fat. If it's from animals, it's all about an animal that's eating its natural diet, an animal that's roaming free. So the spirit of the animal is in there. So important, because the spirit of a human being, the difference between somebody being locked up in a jail and somebody who's out free and just has that vibrance about them. That's a huge difference, and that's the way I look at the animals. If the animal's kept in a cage or kept in a place where he's not going to move around a lot, or a chicken, or whether it doesn't matter what kind of animal it is, whether it's a chicken, a bird, a cow, or a pig, it makes no difference. These animals need to be running free. And the freedom is, freedom, that's what we're talking about here. America, the home of the free. But we're not talking about our food, we're talking about us. We're talking about freedom. And with all this stuff that's going on, with these shootings almost on a daily basis, and it seems like we just had another one, of course. So, to feel good about yourself, to get beyond the feeling where you're watching the TV and watching these things go on, concentrate on other things. Shut that TV off and go along with your lives. If something drastic happens where you have to take shelter or get away from bad guys, people trying to kill you, you'll do that automatically. To fret about it on a daily basis, to have these news stations completely have us in fear from moment to moment, it's not the way to live, folks. So we're talking about health, we're talking about this diet, and I want people really to wrap their heads around that fat is not the enemy here, but we have to make sure that the fat we're eating is very healthy fat, like the coconut oils are great, and lard is great, and tallow from beef is great. So all these types of things, the butter, if it's grass-fed from a healthy animal, great. Heavy cream, same type of thing. We have so many different things that are really good for us. There's a lot of fruits out there, like avocados, that have really good fats in them, and that contain a lot of fat that you can use. There's a great olive oil. These are what I call the cold fats. We want to take them cold because they act better that way, because they get rancid very quickly. All these cooking oils that we use that are from olives and seeds like that really have to be watched so you don't heat them too much. I ran across this website. I hadn't seen this gal before, but the name of the website, and her name is Leanne Vogel, and she's got a website called healthfulpursuit.com. And she has been on these kicks of eating a lot of fat because she kind of changed over from her general eating, and she had a lot of problems with her hormones. So what I want to get across from you, it's not just about I'm feeling good and feeling satiated, but also we're talking about getting yourself into a healthy situation. And she had been searching and trying many different things, and she wrote this nice little blog about not to be afraid of fat and why fats are good for you. And she gave a whole bunch of reasons. The number one was increasing your dietary fat leads to fewer cravings, less overeating, and allows you to maintain your weight because your blood sugar is balanced. So this means less overeating and less binging. And I certainly experienced that when we went to on Turkey Day. We went to have this whole spread in front of us, and it was easy to keep track. I knew exactly what I wanted: a little dark meat of the turkey, a little bit of the ham, and a little vegetables, and I was good to go. Number two here: low fat diets can make your triglycerides go up, and that was my experience too. By eating a high fat eating style, by incorporating incorporating more fats, your triglycerides go down, and it lowers your risk of heart disease. Number three was adequate fat intake reduces your chances of depression, and depressive states have been shown to be caused by a low-fat eating style. And why does this happen? Well, cholesterol is a precursor to serotonin, so when we don't have enough cholesterol, our neurotransmitter serotonin isn't created, and therefore we all get depressed and not feeling good. Makes sense to me. Number four, increasing your fat intakes helps you increase your HDL cholesterol. That is, of course, your healthy cholesterol. But, there's really no such thing as being healthy and non-healthy cholesterol, because one is going into the liver, the other one's going out of the liver. It's just a different animal. Number five is cholesterol is used to make hormones. So in number four, we talked about the fact that eating high fat helps you balance out your cholesterol and your HDL. Well, HDL is then used to make your hormones. And a big piece of this is why hormones are important. If you want to lose weight, you need your hormones to be balanced. If you want to feel good about yourself, you need your hormones to be balanced. So allowing you to balance your hormones makes you not only very, very alert and bright, but it puts you in a good mood. Number six, by increasing your fats, we are balancing our blood sugar levels and reducing the amount of insulin our body needs to maintain balance. So insulin is one of those things that is always overproduced and kind of as a safety measure. So we need to keep that in balance and not use insulin on a daily basis, which you would in a low-fat diet. Folks, we'll be right back. The number here is 877-927-6648. Stick around, please. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico here. Paige will be back next week, and I think we have a special guest that she has lined up, so stick around for that. I'm not sure who it is, but I know it's going to be fabulous. Of course, we were talking about fats beginning, and I found this great article by this person here, Leanne Vogel, and she's got some nice videos too, so you can check those things out. I talked before about increasing the fat that helps the HDLs, but also there's LDLs, which are what they call the bad cholesterol, but it's really the cholesterol that is taken away from, going back into the blood system. And they're really broken down into two kinds. One is the big fluffy kind, and one is the real small kind, and the big fluffy kind is essential for us. And even the small ones are essential, but it's in a different ratio. And you've heard me speak many times about that the difference in the fat. You take a cow that's eating grain and being kept in a small enclosure and force-fed in a sense, because there's nothing else to eat. He can't. It's not like he's choosing the food, or her. And the difference is really the skew of the omega-6-to-3 ratio. Now, there are other omegas in there too, but they're on a smaller level. The 6-to-3 ratio is normally kind of equal, maybe as a 3-to-1 ratio, where the 6s are the 3 and the 1 would be the 3s, which are the real highly anti-inflammatory. So that's the normal ratio. When they start eating grains, that ratio goes up to 15 to 1, sometimes 30 to 1, depending how bad the grains are, depending how badly they are confined. So there's a real drastic difference in how that cow feels. And of course, the cow would then be shot full of hormones, antibiotics to keep it healthy, because it's not going to live very long eating a diet that's not made for it, that isn't there out in the cosmos, let's say, in the pasture, and it's choosing what to eat. And of course, the cow will always choose the freshest grass. They love that, and that's where the good stuff is. Couple of other things. Like I said, she has some great videos. The other thing is that fats are loaded with the A, vitamin A, and the K2 and the vitamin E. So really important, those animal fats are loaded with things that are essential to us, not just good for us, but essential for life. And other things go back. What is the other thing she says? Well, just basically, she's saying that how good she feels because of the transformation. I had somebody in the chat room says, we're talking about eating and going to a special event, and Nico, this is what happens to most of us, and talking about overeating. And those habits are hard to break. But they're, once you get into this diet and you become so satiated, you become so satisfied with what you're eating, it becomes a no-brainer, and you don't even go to that. You don't even look at that as food anymore. And that's the real breakthrough for me. And that happened about maybe the 2 or 3 year level. I've been here on it now 6, 7, 8 years, I guess, pretty close to 8 years on this now. And I remember kind of the transformation of, yeah, it was really cool and I had to stick to it and things like that. But then after a while, it was so easy to stick to because I'm so happy. And it's actually a very, very liberating feeling to not be forced, your body forcing you to eat something that's really not necessary. And I look at food a lot differently now because I'm looking at little pieces of protein or little pieces of carbohydrates as the vehicle I need for my fat. So if I have a lean piece of meat, I'm going to add a little bit of fat to it. If I have a vegetable and that vegetable doesn't have natural fat in like an avocado would, I'm going to add butter to it or some kind of oil to it like I do on a salad. So when looking at that way, because remember, we don't need a lot of protein. We need about 20% because all the studies over the ages, starting back from the turn of the century, I'm talking about the 1900s, to now, 115 years, all the studies say that a low-protein diet is what's going to let you live a lot longer. So that's certainly important to me. And living a lot longer is not so important if you're sick. Living a lot longer is really important if you're healthy throughout that whole thing. So that's my goal. I want to be healthy into my 100s, 120, 130. If that comes about, man, I want to be healthy because I don't want to be bent over. I don't want to be on the floor and not getting up. I want to be able to do the things I'm doing. I want to enjoy life. That's what life is for, to enjoy it. Nobody wants to be miserable. And why would you let yourself be miserable? You eat less, you become more satisfied. It's kind of a perfect storm. So try to look at it this way. You put a piece of meat down, and if it doesn't have much fat, especially the natural fat, put a little butter on it, if you can stand butter. If you're allergic to butter, then there are plenty. You've got avocado oil, you've got coconut oil, you've got all kinds of things. You can do lard, you can do tallow. Get used to doing this, and you're going to find a big transformation in how you feel and, of course, how you look. That's really important. Stick around, folks. 877-927-6648. Pick up some Primal Edge. Pick up my newsletter. We'll talk a little bit about that, and I got a great segment coming up, too. So stick around.
You've heard Nico de Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit tfnn.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. I got a new Health Signals newsletter, and before I start going over that a little bit, it's only $10 a month, $5 an issue. Gives you 2 issues of, really news that if you want to explore how to get healthy, I think this is the one for you, because I don't write any of these letters or articles in here. I dig them up, and I think, what's new about health is really important to me. It's important to a lot of our listeners here. And I try to go to the cutting edge to come up with things that may be of interest to you that you probably don't know, and how to actually go into it and research it yourself. We could be providing links. So here on the Telestrator, I've got Health Signals come up, and a nice little article about new tooth-mimicking material that's developed. And if you look at the very bottom of the page here, there's a little link. So all these little blue things are links that you can click onto, and it'll take you to a lot more information about that. The second article in here is really about cannabis, and there's over 100 scientific studies that have been done on cannabis, and it really is a cancer annihilator. in what they're calling this. One of the contributors to this saying that cannabis is probably the most medicinal active plant on the face of the earth. And he has thousands of testimonials from people. And in here, I've got so many links that these are studies that are just concluded. But if you look at these last pages here, look at all these links, and this will give you information so you can go and see exactly what they're doing with these studies and showing you the great success they're having. It's pretty remarkable, I think. Next on here is a light exposure linked to weight gain. Now, we know that natural light is good for us. It feels good. I remember living up north in Canada and Michigan, and when spring would come and that first day when the sun was really out, I'd go to the park and just kind of lay there and soak it up, and you would feel better. So this stuff is, you know, the sun works. It's there. It's the giver of life here. And in the studies that they're doing here, they're even linking light exposure, artificial light exposure, to weight gain. So, you know, you really need to look at this, because it's not only just sunlight, but if you look at all the different artificial things that we use, we're using a lot of artificial things derived from petroleum-based products in our surroundings. But it's the light, it's the air, it's the fact that we're actually indoors and not outdoors. I talked to a person last week who says he's spending much, much more outdoors, and that's the only change he made. And he feels so much better because now he got a job that's outdoors, and he just feels better about his whole self just from getting that sunlight. I think it's important to really look at these things and find out for yourself so you can be convinced that these things actually do work. Animal studies have shown that timing, intensity of light exposure is critical for metabolic functioning and weight status. And the studies are showing that the same thing is going on with us. So the more you're indoors, the harder it is. There's special ways. Of course, you can get sunlight. You can buy artificial sunlight. They have the tanning beds, and as long as your exposure is small, those work good. Of course, I'm on the binge of the heat lamp, which gives me all of the infrared. So that's the bottom line of the specters that are not harmful but very, very beneficial. And I'm on a daily quest to get my sauna in every single day, and I'll tell you, it makes a huge difference. In fact, I got a message from Glenn about the he said he strained the tendon in his arm. He said it would be hard to it's hard about the bicep, and his shoulders or fingertips are not good. Everything aches at the time. Do you think light therapy would help? Boy, I'll tell you, it will help you a lot, even if you just buy one lamp and put it on that arm. But the real test would be to get that full sauna. I sent him some information about that 4-bulb array that I have. Works very well. So for under $500, you can get into your own sauna if you have a little spare room, or do it in the bathtub the way I'm doing it, or a shower stall. Works perfectly. You know, it's a no-brainer for me, that's for sure. Let's see, let's go to a couple of more articles on here. About your favorite foods. This is kind of shocking, really. And this goes into talking about what may be your favorite foods. Of course, we're talking about processed foods here. The manufacturing of Greek yogurt has tons of waste in it. Your orange juice, if it says it's not from concentrate, it's probably processed with an artificial flavor. Vegetarian burgers are way, way more toxic than conventional beef patties. Now, if you're talking about conventional beef patties and now making your own patties from you're grinding your own meat, or maybe going to the butcher shop knowing that the meat has been fed really good, that's a different story too. Conventional milk is of course pasteurized by a high heat process, so high that it kills everything in there that's any good. The homogenizing, which is the mixing of the fats and the proteins together, also ruins the milk. Your pasteurization, repackaging, combining it, milk from hundreds of cows instead of having it from one cow. You can imagine all this. It's kind of like, I mean, if you're a Scotch drinker and you get a blended Scotch, you can really taste the difference between a nice single malt, like an Aberlour, which I really like. So, you know, you have to look at these things that way. Many canned soups are flavored with MSG. Anything pretty much in a can in the United States has a benzene in it, which is a oil that they use to preserve it. What else? Most ice creams are thickened and stabilized with a slew of toxic material. So this goes on and on and on with various different things. Let's go down the list here. Just want to touch base with this to show you how great this newsletter is. Great article here with the Electric Universe talking about what are Neolithic man. Neolithic would mean 10,000 to 5,000 years ago. What did people see? And this gives you a real insight to what our ancestors were seeing and what they were doing because they were seeing these things. And you can see some of these buildings in here that they were building just to get out of the way of what was happening. I'm going to leave that a secret so you can pick it up. So please pick up this newsletter. It's very, very important. You can see these are statues. Now, people don't make statues for nothing. And these are showing statues with people covering their head. It must have been a hell of an event. If you're building caves, you're building shelters, that will withstand a lot. And this article goes into that whole thing. Common sources of toxins. We have anti-inflammatory things of Boswellia, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. And we also talked a little bit about tribal people who are conserving the pristine areas on our planet. You realize that the most pristine places on Earth now are inhabited by indigenous people being forced out because large companies want this pristine. We want to knock it down and make something that's man-made in there or growing something completely different. And whereas our indigenous people, like in the Amazon jungle, are living there and the land is fine. It's like it was thousands of years ago. Nothing has changed. This is the way these people live. They're spiritual about this. This is the way we want to get back to living in a wild environment. Nothing could be more exciting in my way of thinking, that to live in a wild environment, to have all these adventures, knowing what's good for us, what's bad for us, what's toxic to us, what's danger to us. We want to be enveloped in this sterile environment where nothing's of danger. That's a danger in itself. We can see this by just looking at our population. You know, we're overweight, we're sick, and when you get in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, boy, you don't want to be those people. You want to be healthy. You want to be vibrant. You want to be able to do things that you did in your 30s and 40s into your 80s and 90s. This is what life is all about, to embrace it. And I see more and more people now embracing that kind of lifestyle, wanting to be healthy, being 90 years old and standing up straight and walking every day and enjoying life. I mean, this is the time that all of our lives we're told from being a kid, you can't wait until you retire. You're 65 years old and then you can live. We're a slave until then, and then we want to be free. But most people go from one form of slavery to another form of slavery, being slaved in a meaningless job. If you're passionate about your job, that's really great. And you know, I'm lucky. I've got 3 jobs: teaching jiu-jitsu, being a personal trainer, and coming and talking to you every week and sharing these things with Paige. This is exciting. It keeps me really on the edge of wanting to learn more and more and sharing it with people. And it just makes my life really great. And that's the way you want to feel when you're 71 years old. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Why would you choose anything else? But you have to start now. It doesn't come by itself. So let's go down the list here. What do we got here? So next, talking about these people. Okay, we've got some recipes here. 3 awesome grilled vegetable recipes. Some of you will like that. A Thai beef salad. And for primal exercise, now that the winter's coming on, how to survive running in cold weather, if that's what you want to do. And the last part is, here are the elders living past 100 and how do they do it? And I think it's a good article for you to read. And the last thing on here, of course, got some Primal Edge here. Please pick that up. And then a Himalayan salt lamp. I've had salt lamps for 5 or 6 years now in my house. I think I have one in every room. Especially good around electronics because it does give off the positive ions And that in itself will make it feel better. You know how when it rains, these little negative ions, I should say, come out, and you can smell them in the air. Well, the salt lamps do kind of the same thing. So that's the Health Signals newsletter about that. Okay, let's see what else I've got here. I think somebody else was wanting me to talk about the lack of sunlight. Well, you know, I've gone over that, Jay. It's not just the sunlight, but it's the being confined. It's not having plants around you. If we wanted to really have a great atmosphere, we start building these buildings with more light coming in, more of the natural light. And we see a lot of architecture now, people who are architects envisioning this kind of thing, making more green buildings. So the materials they're building with are green, but also how they're building it, having that natural light come in, having more natural air come in, having the air conditioned so it's not just cooling, but perhaps also cleaning the air for you, putting positive or negative ions in so everybody feels better, keeping the temperature maybe going up and down, maybe having the lights go up and down. We see a lot of new things happening all over the world with people checking into that type of mentality by let's get back to a more natural world. And you know, I'm all about that. So what do you folks think? Okay, so let me go on here, and what else was I going to talk about? I had some real interesting articles here. See if I can find them for you. Just go back. Yeah, there's this thing. I found this article about cell phones. And I'm not going to get into it too much, but the gist of one of the articles I was reading was that just by having your cell phone out and putting on, say you're having a conversation with somebody, and you put your cell phone down, just having that cell phone there relates to the person across from you that they're not as important as if you didn't have that phone there, because you know you're going to be looking at that phone, a little buzz comes, an email comes through, or a text or something like that. You're going to be looking at that, and it's going to disturb the relationship that you have. And this lady's been doing a study on this. But there's also a lot more. I mean, I see people walking down the street with their cell phone. I see women walking their babies with their cell phone. No connection between their child and themselves. A big connection between this. Of course, you see it in the cars. You're at a stoplight, you look around, people are looking down. It's a freaky kind of thing. I have got into the habit now. I didn't even bring my cell phone in here. Last night when we were at this little event, I didn't take it. I leave it in my car. And I feel a lot better. It's amazing. I would recommend you trying this and not being a slave to the darn thing. You know, how many opportunities do we have to check? How can it be that important? If you're expecting an important call, then I can understand it. But if you're just having that phone randomly here and anything that comes through, you're going to be looking at it, it changes the relationship. And a lot of the studies that I'm looking at is telling us that the younger people have much less empathy than we do. They cannot relate to each other as easily. They cannot relate to older people. That's always been the case. A 15-year-old can't relate to a 30-year-old very good. They relate to the 17-year-old. That's always been the case. But now we're putting up even more and more barriers. I see a lot of parents that I'm talking with are restricting that use with their children because they can see the difference in their children by having these devices all the time. So, and I think it's a smart thing to do with not only the TV, but also the phones and the iPads and things like that. I had one customer tell me, you know, my 5-year-old son is reading. I'm not giving him these devices, and he's reading. He's going through 3-4 books a week, and these are thick books for a young man. So, you know, these are the kind of things I think that will put us back in touch with each other. So stick around, folks. I got one more segment left, and you're going to want to hear this.
You know what's cool?
taking something that's good for you, something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Steve Rhodes as he teaches techniques on technical analysis using pattern recognition, celestial charting, Fibonacci, and other tools. The Trader's Edge, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks. Nico here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. I ran across this article. Actually, Paige sent it to me a couple of months ago, and we were going to talk about it, and it never came about, so I thought I'd bring it up now. It's called The Ceremony of Bleeding. In Western culture, our women do not have the social right to hold menstrual traditions while functioning in society, whereas in many cultures, women have the foundation of cultural heritage to remove themselves for the ceremony of bleeding. Our women simply go to work and business as usual. This kind of shows me how out of touch we are with our own bodies and our own cycles themselves. We often hear about a tradition that we used to have as boys to our coming of age for the men. And, a lot of Indian traditions, the guy would go out, and in Greece certainly, the boy would go out at age 15 or whatever the age was in that particular tribe and go out on himself for quite a few days. But the women did this kind of thing too. This article I'm going to put in my next newsletter. The menstrual technology we have adapted are sometimes quite shocking. We promote the use of bleached lace cotton to be inserted into the vaginal canals of women to block the blood flow, which has led to serious cases of toxic shock syndrome where women have lost limbs. I've learned from different lineages that there are ancestral practices to allow control of the blood flow during the cycle. A woman can hold mantras, yoga poses, chant things to channel the release. And these are practices in most indigenous society. In the Washi tribe of Nevada, a woman fasts for her first bleeding, followed by an intense initiation of a run up 4 mountains, one in each direction, lighting fires for her tribe to reach the top of each. This is her initiation into womanhood. It is believed in many indigenous American cultures that the bleeding time is the time to communicate with the spirits, to converse with the cosmos, and the sun dance ceremony itself was created for men to achieve the great blood sacrifice that women give each month. I know myself, I was very puzzled at a young age, probably between 13 and 16, where I vaguely knew what a period was until my dad actually explained it to me. I was kind of still in the dark, and then I finally had a girlfriend explain the whole thing to me when I was about 17, I think, and it started to communicate a little bit. We often think these things are unnatural. We need to really be in touch with our own bodies, and the ancient people had these things going on as ceremonies. We often shun things like this. We have it for men too. It's a little different for us. But this ceremony, this God-given right of women to cleanse themselves on a monthly basis, is for me kind of a holy tradition that they need to learn about, and the men need to learn about it. And in traditions, that's how you learn these things. The women would go off. In fact, as a tribe, the women would naturally get into the rhythms themselves, so they all start ovulating at the same time, all start bleeding at the same time, and they would go off for a week and be themselves. So, there's a lot of great traditions in there. If you want to learn about these things, you can learn it by, just Googling the ceremony of bleeding. You probably will find it there, but it'll be in my next newsletter. So, please subscribe to Health Signals. It's very important that you get this information so you can start getting healthy. I think healthy mind, healthy spirit, healthy body, nothing better. So, next week, we got a special guest. I'm not sure who it is, but Paige is arranging it all. She'll be back next week, so I won't be yakking here by myself. It's always great to have her. And what was this? The largest animals do not eat animals or animal fat. No, the largest ones don't. It's the small ones like us. We'll be back next week, folks. Thanks a lot.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.